Right, I've got one which is a film that I would suggest that nobody has seen. I think I'm the only person on the planet who's ever seen this, and it's got a couple of people in it. And the film's called There's Only One Jimmy Grimble. Have you ever seen it?
I've heard of it.
It came out in 2000, and it's got a couple of well-known British actors. So There's Only One Jimmy Grimble, for the uninitiated out there. It's a film about football. When I say football, I mean football, not soccer. It's football. So it's about this young lad who wants to be a footballer, and he finds these magic boots. And these magic boots are from a footballer from like the 1940s or something, you know, the old school brown leather football boots. And he goes to play football on his school football team, and it turns out he's like amazing at football, but he's getting bullied by the David Beckham lookalike wannabe lad. You know, they're all from Manchester, like, you know.
It's got some good people in it.
It has got some. It's got Gina McKee, she's in it, and Ben Miller. There are quite a few. It's, Robert Carlyle and Ray Winston, probably the two most well known. It's got quite a few people in it that ended up being in Coronation Street. It's obviously set in Manchester, so it's got a lot of Manchester actors in it. Ray Winston and Robert Carlyle are the standouts. So Robert Carlyle is the sports teacher, and he's a big Man City fan. So Jimmy Grimble's a big Man City fan, and it's all back when Man City used to be shit. So they were a proper football club then, not what they are now.
Yeah, it was okay to say you supported Man City then, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was acceptable to be a Man City fan back then.
By sheer coincidence.
Right.
I'm obviously not a Man City fan. You're not a Man City fan.
No.
He's flying up the ranks in this film as a footballer. He's got these magic boots. And it's just a fantasy for young lads who wanted to be the best footballer. He's being bullied by this David Beckham lookalike, and the David Beckham will look like his dad's a rich guy who owns a local business, and he's like, you know, he's funding the football team. So he's saying, oh yeah, give the ball to Gordon. Gordon's the lad you've got to take through. And there's a Man United fan, so there's a little bit of a Man City versus Man United kind of thing going on there as well. Anyway, it's a guilty pleasure for me, for A, because no one's ever frigging heard of it. B, it's a bit cheesy about a young lad who wants to be a perfect footballer. And then they've got this big final game at Main Road, and they're wearing blue, and they're playing against a team wearing red, so there you go. But he loses his boots, and he gets some new boots from the club shop, and he's playing crap. And it turns out, no, the boots weren't anything special. It was all you all along.
Do you know, this sounds like all the books I read as a kid at school.
Yeah, there was a book I read called Even Stevens FC. About a makeshift football team that end up getting in the FA Cup first round. It's daft.
Did you ever watch When Saturday Comes?
Oh, with
Sean Bean.
With Sean Bean. I have seen Wednesday. I'm surprised you watched it, being a Wednesday fan.
If you know, because if you've not seen it, Sean Bean ends up playing for Sheffield United. It's all about he wants to play for Sheffield United, and he's got all these trials and tribulations because he can't stop having a nice drink at night and stuff like that. He gets pissed up and stuff. But it's only a 6 on there. But I think it's a good film. But if you're from, you know, obviously we're from England, and we like seeing films from working class backgrounds because that's where we're from, isn't it?
But the other thing I'll say is that football doesn't translate well to films, because doing choreography for football just looks stupid. It doesn't look real, doesn't look natural. There's always some pillock on the board that's that spin around players.
Yeah, like the goal films, do you remember them?
Oh god, no, they were bad. We've just watched, me and my wife just watched Ted Lasso, a free series of that, which some of the football in it is just cringeworthy. The comedy in it is very good. The drama in it is not very good at all.
I know you're the same when it comes to this stuff. People keep telling me to watch it, so I'm not going to watch it.
What, with
Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso. I think it took me until series 2 for me to get into it.
But you know, like, when you got to watch it. Yeah. I just hate it when people tell me I've got to watch something.
I'm a bit like that. I was a bit like that with Game of Thrones.
I know you are, and it annoys me. And I'm now doing the same thing.
I got to season 3 of Game of Thrones and gave up because I started watching Breaking Bad.
That's probably when it started going downhill, to be honest.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. It's not worth sticking to the end.
Football doesn't translate well onto film because it's not easy to kind of choreograph.
The only time it worked well, I think, is in Mean Machine, but because it was a laugh. It wasn't like a proper game of football, was it?
Do you know? Silly. Yeah, because it was comedy. Mean Machine, we've mentioned this before, but Mean Machine is a great film.
It's a stupid but great film.
I actually think it's better than The Longest Yard remake with Adam Sandler and Kevin Nash and Steve
Yeah.
Austin. I do think it's better than I like. Vinnie Jones is playing the Danny Meehan character.
Yeah.
I think it's got some great people in that. They're all the Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels kind of alumni.
Yeah, you
in
see
that.
him crop up in the same film.
I think was it a Matthew Vaughn film, Mean Machine? I know he had something to do with it. I know. No, it was directed by Barry Skolnick.
Barry off EastEnders.
Barry from EastEnders.
I don't know. Barry off East. You have to say Barry off EastEnders.
Barry off EastEnders, yeah. He got offed in EastEnders, didn't he?
He did.
I think,
Worst mistake they've ever made.
Oh, Barry was great.
Something inside so strong.
So yeah, guilty pleasure for me. There's only one Jimmy Grimble.
Yeah.
Oh, bollocks to it.